Yo guys, my name is Phoenix and welcome to a new video. So, Tempest of the Gods has been out for a few days now. A lot of new decks are born, the meta has changed a lot, and I've been trying to play some Control Havencraft and Ramped Dragon, but since I feel like I can still improve on them, and I can find a better list, I decided to wait before talking about them. So, since I didn't want too much time to pass before making another video, I decided to talk about a deck that didn't get any support from this expansion, but it's still fairly strong. The deck is Midrange Swordcraft. You can see my list here. This is the list I've been playing, and it's a very aggressive deck. The goal of this deck is just to go face, and it has a lot of storm followers that helps to do that. It falls into the mid-range category because it has favorable matchups against aggro, against control, and against combo, but doesn't excel against any of them. Maybe the only bad matchup it has is Control Bloodcraft because of the huge amount of healing they have, but it's an excellent deck to play for ladder because the games are really fast and you can have a decent win rate with this. And even if the overall deck quality has been increased, this deck still holds very well. So let's talk about my card choices. We start with Quick Bleeder, very easy. It's a 1-drop, it's a Storm 1-drop. If you play this on turn 1 when going first, you will most likely deal 3 to 4 damage with this alone. Same thing goes for Vanguard. And Vanguard, if you have both Quick Bleeder and Vanguard on turn 1, you usually want to play Vanguard, because you can always deal the damage with the Storm, and you can buff this with Evolve or maybe Gabriel, who knows. So, let's continue. Lyrial is a very solid 2-drop. It's the body is normal and it doesn't pay any stat for the Evolve effect. So it can push for one more damage if you evolve this while it's already on the board, and you can even use this for board control. Veteran Lancer is a very solid 2-drop, one of the best in the game, and it can protect you. It can protect your 1-drops, which is very important. Maid Leader will always draw Albert, which is why she's in the deck. It's like having 6 Alberts, which is super strong. Whole Solid Swing is a huge tempo swing when going second. You play this on your opponent's 2/2s, and you not only destroy them, but you also summon a 1/1, which is like a huge tempo play. Angel of the Ward is a solid card. It has a okay body, not a good one, but still okay. And it can deal 1 damage on the spot, which means that you can revenge kill a 2-drop that killed your 1-drops, or you can just play it to go face, which is both are very good cases. Well, Novice Trooper is a Storm follower, which is always great with this deck. Floral Fencer is like the strongest Evolve 4-drop in the game. Geno is a solid follower. You can gain more board control when you're going first. When you're going second, it's still decent. You can save your evolution point for Albert or something like that. But when you go second, you prefer to play Floral Fencer. Dance of Death is, of course, a removal that also deals damage, which is very important in this deck. Albert is your MVP, is the strongest card Swordcraft has so far, and it's very hard to deal with on turn 5, especially if evolved. When you're playing Albert, you're putting so much pressure to your opponent that is forced to play defensively or reactionary, and that alone is a very strong thing. Also, it does 5 damage on play when you just play it. You evolve it and storm his face. Tsubaki. Usually this deck runs 3 Tsubakis. Tsubaki is a very strong card, and the effect is fairly easy to apply because destroying a follower with at least 5 attack means that you're destroying a follower with 3 attack that evolved, usually. Or you can get rid of huge wards and stuff like that. And it also has Ambush, which means that you're going to deal 4 damage almost granted. Alvida's Command is a very solid card. The pirate will often deal 5 damage because you can evolve it on turn 6. So yeah. And Gabriel is one of the cards I like to play. I like to play Gabriel because it's so easy to pull off with this deck. With this deck you're aiming for board control, which means that you can use Gabriel's effect on one of the Genos tokens, if you play it on 6, on a Tsubaki, or even on turn 8 on a Quick Blader. And the reason I like Gabriel is because nobody expects it, so they don't usually play around on the +4 attack buff. So yeah, this is the deck. So let's see how it plays. I will comment on some more replays of mine. Okay, here I'm up against Shadowcraft. I'm going first. This is the new Skeleton Shadowcraft. Usually for your mulligan stage you want to keep 1-drops and 2-drops. If you have a 2-drop and a 3-drop, you don't look for 1-drops. If you don't, you usually mulligan everything except 2-drops. Mage Leader can be mulliganed, but you can also keep it if you want to be sure you're going to have a 2-drop. In this case, I think I'm gonna keep it. Yeah, I am. I draw into a 3-drop, so I will just play on curve. Unless I find a better 2-drop, because Mage Leader is one of the worst 2-drops to play on curve. You usually want to play it on turn 4 along with another 2-drop. But here I don't have any better, so Mage Leader will be. I play this in Storm Phase, of course, on turn 1. I will just keep playing on curve for now. He decided to take the value trade, because why not? So here I prefer to go Hold Soul and Swing, even if it is not play point efficient. And because if I played the Angel of the Ward, I could have killed the 1-1, but the 2-2 was free to go face, and I didn't like it. So I decided to keep Angel of the Ward for a better turn. So here I did a mistake, because I should have expected the Prince Catacomb. I should have attacked with the Mage Leader, the 1-1, to clear it off. I didn't, I went face, I regret it. Don't do that. He plays Prince Catacomb and just goes face. This is an Aggro versus Aggro matchup, so you usually want to have board control. Here I play, of course, Angel of the Ward to clear the 1-1 and go face. He plays Hortus, sorry. Goes face. Of course, turn 5 is Albert Evolve, because that's so powerful. And of course the 1-1 is going into the 3-1, because this is dealing too much damage. But the others are going face. So, as you can see, since I have a huge 5-7 on the board, he's forced to play reactionary, and he has to double trade here, which is a huge deal for me. This lowers his board presence, and overall it's much better. So before drawing Geno, I was going to play Albert Evolve, but Geno is a better option, because here I have a Mage Leader, which means I will deal 3 more damage, because I will draw Albert on turn 7. But this will only deal 5. So 5 plus 3 is 8. He has 9 defense left, which means I want to deal the extra damage with one of the 1-1s. Which is why when I draw Geno, I just play it and trade for the 1-2. So now he plays Cerberus. He decided to evolve this one to push for more damage, because he most likely has the Phantom Hole in his hand. That's what I thought, at least. He goes face. So here I could go to push for more damage, but I understand he has Phantom Hole, because that's not a move you would do if you didn't. So instead of going for Albert Evolve face, I prefer to go for board control. Because since he played the deal 2 card already, he can deal up to 7 damage. I don't want to go to 7 HP. Which means I play Albert, I trade, so I can play Lyrial, evolve and clear the board. As you can see, I will just clear. The others will go face, which means that right now he's at 7. I'm counting on my mid leader to draw me Albert to hit him for 6, which means only 1 damage has to pass here. Sadly, it's not the case. He will just clear the board with his Phantom Hole. But I'm happy with that because that's his win condition. So I'm glad it's gone. He plays a Dark Conjurer. And I draw a Dance of Death, which means I deal the 2 damage I needed. But there is a lot of cards I could have drawn here. I could have drawn a Quick Blader, I could have drawn a Novice Trooper, Alvida's Command, a lot of cards. Angel of the Ward, which means I was kinda safe with the dealing 1 damage thing. So I draw Dance of Death, I use it on a 2-2, because I know Aggro Shadowcraft doesn't play Ward. So I play DOD, and made leader to get me an Albert on turn 9. And at this point I just won the game, because I will just deal 6 damage now. He plays Hector, which is irrelevant. And I hit 6 with Albert. So Aggro versus Aggro, you want to keep board control as much as you can. And against Shadowcraft, you need to be very safe after you see Cerberus come in play. So next replay is against another Swordcraft. It's the new Frog type Swordcraft I've seen, which is a deck that I find really annoying because you don't have much counterplay against it. So here I reroll all my 3 drops because I was looking for 1 drops and 2 drops. Sadly, I find like one of the worst 2 drops in my deck, because I don't really want to play mid leader on 2. But Whole Solid Swing is good, especially if I'm going second, which I am this time. So I'm okay with this. I didn't know I was going to against a Frog Swordcraft, which means this is kinda useless at first. So I draw into a 1 drop, which is great. I just play it. He plays this to look for his frog. I just play mid leader then, because I don't have a better 2 drop. This goes face. He plays his frog, of course. I don't have a better 3 drop, so I just go for another mid leader, which is okay. It's a bad tempo play, but it's a huge tempo because I'm playing Albert on 5 and 6. Or where I can have Alvida's Command on 6, which is even better. So here I was going to play Geno, but I drew into Floral Fencer. Now, I make a misplay here because I'm inexperienced against this deck. I could choose to play Geno, evolve one of these and go face for more damage, or I could go for more board control, play Floral Fencer, evolve it and attack this. I play Floral Fencer, which is a mistake because I didn't know this deck runs Cyclone Blade. I'm not used to play against this deck. I've played like 5 or 6 times right now, so I do the wrong choice, but the best choice was to play Geno, attack, evolve one of these and push for 3 more damage. Instead I go for Floral Fencer, evolve. At this point I have a huge board. If he didn't have Cyclone Blade in his hand, he would have been in a terrible shape here. But as you will see, he does. He will just evolve, clear and go face. So here of course the best play is just to put some pressure by playing Albert and evolving. I will of course go face because this is ambushed. He plays his own Albert and now he has a choice. He can rather clear me but then he loses his win condition. Or he can go face and hope I don't have 5 damage. He decided to go face. But this is kind of a mistake in my opinion, because Midrange Swordcrafts have a lot of ways to deal 5 damage on turn 6. They can play Albert, they can play Alvida's Command, of course by evolving. They can play Quick Blader plus a Novice Trooper. They can play Angel of the Ward plus Novice Trooper. They have a lot of ways, so 5 damage is critical. And he decided to go face because he didn't want to waste his win condition eventually. But yeah, that's a risky play. He does that, I play my own Albert, and I win. Okay. So overall the deck is really fun. It's fairly easy to play because most of the time you're going face. The only tricky thing is the Aggro versus Aggro matchup, in which you have to know when you have to trade. The mulligan stage is easy because you're just looking for 2 drops and 3 drops and 1 drops. If you have only 2 drops, you keep them. You keep 1 2-drop, most likely Veteran Lancer or Lyrial, and you look for 1 drops. If you have a 2-drop and a 3-drop, you just keep them. You don't reroll your 3-drop if you have a 2-drop. If you're going second, you keep Floral Fencer most of the times. And that's about it. That's all you need to know about the mulligan stage. The deck is fairly cheap. You need 6 legendaries. You can play at third Subak instead of Gabriel if you would like, but I like the Gabriel more because of the surprise effect. And I hope this video was useful for you. If you want to see more, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.